goodness, y'all. Greetings, 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 greetings. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. Today is Sunday Rendezvous. Heute ist Sonntag, y'all. I'm going to get this out of the way. I know it's early, okay? Some of y'all might be in church service, right? But normally we have our Sunday morning church or a Sunday AM church right here, right now. But today's topic, what's good, broken hearts? Glad to see you here. We're going to get into Laila Ali Clarissa Shields. We're going to touch on Delbert Blair, and he's going to be speaking about the 80's babies. And we're going to talk about these digital IDs. And just a few minutes ago, when this video was coming up, I checked my phone, and my sister said that apparently they're trying to replace the black vote. There are a few states that have similar laws, they say. So her and my friend are going back and forth in a group chat. They're doing something with the voters' rights. They're definitely trying to replace the black vote with the foreign one. Interesting. So anyway, y'all, let's get into Clarissa Shields. All right. And like I was stating, Clarissa Shields has always been a very, very nice looking female, nice looking lady, y'all, without a doubt. And we're going to see why had they have gotten into this dispute. Okay. So this this says, let the record show, all right, by Laila Ali. So she actually developed a YouTube channel to address Clarissa Shields, everyone. All right, because I don't even think she was on YouTube until recently. So let's go ahead and hear what she has to say. It sounds like she's fed up from what I heard last night, y'all, when I watched this. So here she is. You should be able to see her up on the screen. And to the right in the white, that's her in her younger year, y'all. Look at her muscles. Look at her body. All right. She did not come to play. All right, let's listen.
There has been a whole lot of talk about the possibility of me making a comeback to boxing. And people have had a lot to say, but I have not addressed it until now. And I know everyone wants to know the answer to the question, will I be coming back? And I promise you, I'm going to give you that answer. But first, I have got to address the lies and the fake narrative that's been created years ago. Now, someone's gotten way too comfortable dragging my name and even using my father's name to get attention and clout. Now, in case you haven't heard it, her story is that I didn't support her and I didn't pass the torch because of my jealousy and envy over her accomplishments in boxing. She says that I disrespected her and I started talking about knocking her out simply because I was bitter that she's outdone me. I've seen a lot of the comments. Many of you have good discernment and understand what's really going on here, while others have believed her lies over the years or have formed an opinion without having all the facts. Now, originally, I wasn't even going to give this my time or attention because I really don't engage with people who thrive off of negativity, drama, and buffoonery. But I'm not about to let someone with bad character continue running freely, dragging my name without accountability.
That's not gonna happen.
Come on now, listen. Laila Ali is just Muhammad Ali's daughter. And
No, come on, we ain't gonna do that.
No, that is right.
Come on, Layla can rumble though.
and Wolf would have knocked Laila Ali out. You know, she would have knocked Laila oh so pretty ass out.
So this right here is the consequence. Now, I have been busy working on other projects.
Hold on, y'all. All right. So right there, allegedly, she's supposed to be, yeah, we're not talking about Israel. And I thought I blocked you yesterday, Tanya. I thought I blocked you, but you're back. Anyway, the thing about it is, y'all, Layla, I don't really think she's worried about Clarissa Shields like that. I think Clarissa Shields is more worried about Laila Ali because Clarissa Shields has more of a point to prove. She's a newer boxer, all right? She's more new to boxing. Laila Ali has already established her legacy. So I don't know why she would be worried about a Clarissa Shields. And then when we heard that interview with Gilly and Wallow, y'all, they always seem like a two little goofies to me. Just, I don't know. I don't watch their podcast whatsoever. But it just sounded like Clarissa Shields was kind of jealous of Layla. I mean, and we can definitely see with our eyes that she's visually, aesthetically pleasing to look at, right? But let's keep going on.
That required all of my time and focus, which is why I'm just now saying something. But honey, I have made the time to address this. So today, the bad guy ain't getting away.
So basically, Layla's saying that she had too many other business ventures to really be worried about all of this stuff going on with Clarissa Shields, keeping her name in her mouth. So now she has time. She said, I got time today because at first I was too busy with my businesses making money. I didn't have time for this. But now I'm going to go ahead and address it on my time. That's what she's saying. She's speaking like a boss. This reminds me of the Onika Mirage and Lil Kim situation, Kimberly Jones. Y'all remember when Nikki came into the rap situation and she was basically trying to emulate Lil Kim. And at the same time, Lil Kim said she was throwing shots at her as well. And it was being told to Lil Kim and communicated to Lil Kim that she would, Nicki Minaj would listen to Kim. They were in the same studio sessions or whatever. And when Kim was in the booth, Nicki was like, you know, throwing little shots. But then they got on a rap song together with Gucci Man. I don't know if y'all remember that. But anyway, that's how she really came out. She was stealing Lil Kim's style, the wigs, the same pose that Lil Kim did on her CD cover. Y'all, it's just ridiculous. And females, I don't know why they have this competitive nature like they do, but this is what goes on. So let's hear what Laila Ali has to say.
Now let's hit rewind because we really need to see what's happened over the years, what got us here. Now I'm not about to do the whole he say, she say thing, so let me show you some receipts. I first met her in 2012 when she was invited on stage to stand next to me when I gave my father his Liberty Medal. At some point, she reached out, started asking me for advice, wanted to know if she should go to the Olympics a second time or go pro. She would also call me and let me know when she was fighting. Now at the time, I was one of the hosts of We Need to Talk, an all-female sports commentary show that still airs on CBS. I asked the producers if we could do a story on her. They agreed. So I got on a plane, flew to Colorado, and did a full sit-down interview with her. Now this is just a shortened version of the 6-minute piece that aired on CBS in 2016. "21-year-old Clarissa Shields is as confident as her right hand is powerful. Soon, Clarissa will be heading to Rio for the Olympics."
Okay, so I don't want to play too much of her video. I don't want to steal her footage, y'all, because you can definitely check this out. She has over 312,000 views thus far since she posted this video, but you can see that they did a special on Clarissa Shields, and this is, you know, some of the background footage.
And stands undefeated.
But I'll always go back to Flynn and help.
I know that when I was fighting, any of my struggles that I had to overcome or anything that I was upset about, whether it be something personal or something going on in the world, I would use that anger, you know, and take it into the ring with me and channel that energy into the ring. Have you ever done that?
Now, in this interview, you can clearly see, if you look at Clarissa Shields' face, she's much younger back then. To me, it looks like she's much younger, right? And my thing is this, okay? I don't think Laila Ali is really intimidated by Clarissa Shields coming up in boxing, especially, like I said, when when Laila Ali has already established a name for herself. And of course, we do know her father, all right, Muhammad Ali, of course. But I don't think that this is what she was trying to do. I don't think she was trying to throw shots at Clarissa Shields whatsoever.
Going through stuff back at home, but I would have a boxing match and I would take out everything I was going through on the girl, and that kind of helped me because after I boxed, that was my ultimate high, and I felt like my life was perfect for at least 2 weeks. So
Clarissa's father, a former underground fighter, was passionate about boxing.
he went on to tell me that Muhammad Ali's daughter, Layla, took after him. And he's like, and my dad, he says to this day, Layla's a bad girl. He says all the time. He said.
So the comparisons probably started in her head way back then, right? Way back then.
Like, do it for us, because she's in the weight class I would have been in. So
yeah. All right, and this is Layla talking about Clarissa Shields on the talk show.
I have absolutely no doubt that Clarissa is going to win gold again in the Olympics. Women's boxing wasn't even in the Olympics when I was boxing, so I'm like, do it for us, because she's in the weight class I would have been in. So I'm like, go get it, girl, go get it. There's a lot of women who have been training for a long time, and nobody knows who they are. So the Olympics just really gives them a platform and something to strive towards. I didn't even fight amateur because I was like,
all right, and you can still see, even with the dress on that Laila Ali has on, you could just look at the biceps through her dress. Her thighs are still muscular, y'all. So she does not take breaks, especially when it comes to training. She still works on her body, y'all. So for her to be the age that she is, she looks really, really good, in really good shape for herself. All right, let's keep going on, okay?
Gave her a spotlight. When she asked for advice, I gave her valuable branding advice and boxing advice so she could have long-term success in and outside of the ring. I told her about the challenges that I faced fighting at 168, where there was limited competition, and I suggested that if she decided to turn pro, she should consider going down in weight somewhere around 148, where she would have more competitive challenges. I told her she should hire a nutritionist, trim off that excess body fat, and get into elite next level shape. I pointed her in the right direction, and I had high hopes for her. Whether she decided to turn pro or not, I felt like her future was bright if she played her cards right. But of course, at the time, I was not aware of her divisive, vindictive, and malicious nature. And I know that.
And you can definitely see in her face the passion that she has about this situation. You know what? Stop saying stupid stuff in my comment section. All right. You said she has uplifted others in the game back then. Okay. Yeah. So that's what she showed here too, as well. She has uplifted others. So let's keep going.
Those are strong words, but they actually fit. This girl has created a pattern. It's been directed towards many people time and time again. Now,
so those were screenshots of Clarissa Shields, I guess, saying how she admires Laila Ali, how she looks up to her, like on Twitter, on social media. These are the things that, Clarissa Shields is posting. So let me pause it here. Okay, so no, this is coming from Amanda Serrano. My apologies. Clarissa, okay, you are one of the best, and I will always admire what you have accomplished. But over the past 3 years, you have constantly made, so this is a fan saying that she's been disrespectful, all right, towards Laila Ali. Comments about my company, this is about Amanda. Disrespectful comments about my company, my promoter, my accomplishments, and the people I care about who have changed my life and have made it a point to support women's boxing on the biggest stages possible. It's time to recognize this and move forward on separate paths. I will always be a big fan of you. I think she's trying to say of you and your in-ring accomplishments. Stay well. April 16th. This was earlier this year. Okay. Well stated, Amanda. And then this is Clarissa. Okay. Still don't know how I didn't win the Sportswoman of the Year of the BET Awards, but congrats to Angel Reese and all the other nominees. I just thought accolades mattered. So she's trying to almost say that I guess Angel Reese did not deserve it and she should have gotten it, but she didn't. So she's complimenting her, but at the same time saying that she should have gotten it over her. That's what she's saying.
Time and time again. Now, before we started our interview in Colorado, she said to me, "You're the name people say when it comes to women's boxing. You're the face they know. I want that to be me." Now, looking back after everything that's unfolded, it seems pretty calculated now. Like she was waiting for the right moment, the right excuse to finally do what she'd already made up her mind to do. I mean, that's how it feels now. She told me she saw me as the face of women's boxing, and she told me that she wanted my spot. And she's been on a mission to ruin my reputation ever since, simply because she heard me make a comment that was not about her and she took it personal. Fast forward to 2018, I was promoting my cookbook, Food for Life, and went on The Breakfast Club, a national show with millions of listeners. I did a 36-minute interview, and when the topic of boxing came up, I actually mentioned her and made positive comments. Then much later into the interview, I was asked about the possibility of a comeback.
Would you ever get back in the ring just for fun? You still train?
I stay training.
Got you.
Yeah, I got.
Oh, and by the way, for this guy, Texas, let me let you know something. You talking about you live next door and saying all this stupid stuff in my comment section. Let the record be clear. I know every individual in my neighborhood. Everybody. I got their names, I got their addresses, I can get your phone number, and I can get your address and email address. All right. So don't come over here like that. Okay. Do not come over here with this nonsense, because I am a realtor and I have access to do that for the entire state in which I live. So don't play with me. Even if you don't live here, I can still get your information. So don't play. All right. And you don't live next door. I know exactly who lives on my street. And you won't be just dealing with me. Let's make that very clear. Okay. Laila has class. And that's one thing I like about her. That's what a lot of people are saying in the comment section. So let's see, why did Clarissa Shields get offended in this interview? Because I didn't really hear anything too offensive that Laila stated. So let's listen.
And made positive comments. Then much later into the interview, I was asked about the possibility of a comeback.
Would you ever get back in the ring just for fun?
You still train?
I stay training.
Got you.
Yeah, I got a little baby six-pack right now.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I have a heavy bag hanging in my. I just turned 40.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
No.
I know. I just turned 40. I can't believe it either. And because I think of my healthy lifestyle, the fact that I train all the time, I can pretty much do anything I wanted to. Well, I don't think there's anyone there for me right now that would actually give me a good challenge.
How did you and your husband argue? Because he can't, usually you can say something slick, but with you can't say that slickness.
You was on the Food Network's Chopped.
Yes.
And you won.
I did a couple times.
So what brings you more joy, winning in the ring or winning in the kitchen?
I just like to win, period. Definitely boxing is my first love, and, cooking is something that I'm super passionate about.
Gotcha.
It'll be a part of my life forever. I'm not somebody who sits back and complains about things. I think everything happens in due time. You got Clarissa Shields now, who's an Olympic champion.
And she did not have to mention Clarissa Shields' name in that interview whatsoever. So how is she hating on Clarissa Shields? Like, I just feel that Laila, for her to be so aesthetically beautiful the way that she is, a lot of people, they get intimidated by a lot of, aesthetically beautiful females. And they're automatically mad at that female because she's just naturally pretty. And you saw that in the interview that she did, when she made that claim about her being pretty. Like, what did that have to do with it, right? But then not just that, she's very well spoken, extremely articulate. She expresses herself very clearly, and just very poised, and also she's still has like a femininity to her because she's a mother and she is also a wife, y'all, and she cooks. So, she's she has like an all around talent to her. She doesn't just do one thing. She also is really good at promoting her cookbook. She can cook, and I think she has like endorsement deals and things like that outside of boxing to secure her financial future, because she's established herself in that aspect, which is something that Clarissa Shields should be working on doing instead of focusing on Laila Ali, right? Because everybody, when they get into a certain field or profession, their experience and their walk and their path might be different. It's not always going to look like the person before them. You have to create your own lane, what works for you, right? And so I didn't hear her say anything disrespectful. As a matter of fact, she brought Clarissa Shields up in the interview.
The young black girl came out of Flint, Michigan, lived a hard life, went through a lot. She went to the Olympics, won twice. Women's boxing wasn't in the Olympics when I fought. She actually fights at the weight class I fought in. And she's doing great. Women's boxing is getting some good attention. Now, remember, at the time we were on.
She's an 80s baby. What can we say? She's an 80s baby. She looks good. So we're going to talk about the 80s babies with Dr. Delbert Blair in a little bit. But yeah, she looks very good. And this is what happens when you take care of yourself. She watches her diet. And then, she probably eats a lot from home. She probably cooks at home, and that's probably healthier, cleaner, food that she is in charge of. And then she still trains. She still works out. So all of these things matter. Like, I've seen Clarissa Shields, on some of her video clips and stuff, and her body doesn't look as tight as I think it could be, not to say that she's not a powerful fighter, but I don't watch her like that. Honestly, I just heard about her because of the Remy and Papoose situation. That's how she came across my timeline, not because of boxing. I heard about Laila Ali because of boxing. Right. And my mother was the one that told me, oh, that's Muhammad Ali's daughter. I was like, oh, really? Because Muhammad Ali was out during like my parents' time. So that's how I found out about Laila Ali. And I just always thought she was nice looking. You said you look cute this AM. By the way, I always love your hair, no matter how you put it up or down. Thank you. So let's continue on here.
On good terms. She was reaching out to me and referring to me as Big Sis. But this was her response.
I watched the Breakfast Club video with Laila Ali. I have so much respect for her, and I like her. I actually call her my big sis, but it was so many shots thrown. Like, if y'all really paid attention, her saying, oh, there's not nobody good enough at 168, my weight class, that could give her a challenge when I'm the number one in my weight class. And, I'm just like, nah. And, I just feel like, she gave props where it's due, but, she also spoke on how, what I'm doing for women's boxing is great, but it's not great enough for her. When it's like, we got two different goals and sets in life. Me winning 2 Olympic gold medals is just the beginning. Even when she was boxing, she never fought on Showtime, HBO. I fought the main event on.
So I'm just really tired of listening to this at this point, because she's not. I like Laila Ali's voice. I mean, to me, she has a pleasant tone when she speaks. And I think Clarissa Shields could benefit from some media training. She needs to be more polished when she presents herself. And it just will come off a whole lot better if she were more well spoken. Or if she was more well spoken. It's just, she's all over the place, right? And she almost sounds like a child. You know how like a child is in elementary school or middle school or high school, and they're just trying to pick apart the person that they don't like, that they want to be like they're comparing themselves, comparing and contrasting, and you just trying to tear them down. I don't understand this, because if you're saying that you look up to this person and you admire them, why would you try to tear them down? That makes no sense. That's a mental issue, y'all. And there are a lot of females walking this earth that are just like Clarissa Shields, y'all. They said that Remy Ma and Clarissa Shields used to be real friendly back in the day. And this was just the other year. They were texting one another. She was asking Remy Ma for fashion advice. And Remy Ma was like, what do you need? I can put together some things for you. What is it that you want? And then the next thing you know, Clarissa Shields is being spotted with Remy Ma's husband, because he's still married to Remy Ma, y'all. It's craziness, right? This is craziness.
Showtime, I don't know how many times now, fastest woman to win a world title. I did it in 4 fights.
All right, I'm tired, because if the thing is, you don't have to keep telling everybody what you've done. Just let your actions speak for you. Especially if you're a fighter, let your accolades and your, actions and what you do speak for you. You don't have to come on social media and tell everybody about this, right? So I'm going to skip past her because I'm kind of tired of listening to it, y'all.
Or even call her name in a conversation about me fighting or making a comeback was silly to me. Especially since I had literally told her that I retired from boxing because I didn't feel inspired or challenged anymore by the level of competition that was available to me. We had that talk. So I learned a lot about her character and her mindset. She took what I said out of context and made it all about her. I decided I was no longer going to invest time or energy into her. But she, on the other hand, she took it straight to social media, started comparing her boxing skills to mine, making negative comments about me, and pitting herself against me in a fight. A year later, I was doing press for my show Homemade Simple on OWN, so I went on Sway Universe, another syndicated national show with millions of listeners. We were talking, he asked me about boxing, he asked me about her, I said positive comments as usual, then he plays one of her visits.
Are you watching women's boxing today?
Oh yeah,
you like Clarissa?
I do. I think that she's a talented fighter, and she has the opportunity right now. The stage is set So now she just has to kind of do her thing. I
Talk about homemade simple, airing Saturdays 9 a.m. on the OWN network. Okay, it's an incredible show. I had Clarissa here, right? I asked her who does she think would win and you against you in your prime and her now. And this is what she said.
She not cut like me. She don't take the challenges. Like, she didn't fight against Ann Wolf. I fight against the best and beat the best. And if Laila Ali was to come out of retirement, I beat her too.
That's not anything I haven't heard before. First,
You know what? And I can tell that Laila Ali was offended by that comment. You're going to see in a second the expression on her face and listen to the inflection in her voice, because up until that point, she had always spoken positively on record about Clarissa Shields. And then Clarissa Shields goes on a public platform and says this about Laila Ali behind her back, right? So let's listen.
no, she's supposed to feel like she's the greatest.
Absolutely.
But just because you think you are doesn't mean you are.
Okay.
I like to support and uplift people. And I think that on your way up, just
look at the expression. She's disappointed, y'all.
do your best not to disparage those that have come before you. First of all, she could never beat me.
Okay.
Let me just get that straight right now.
You want to get that straight, Laila?
Let's get that straight right now.
Okay.
And not simply because she's not strong enough, okay, because I would definitely knock her out, but because she's not talented enough to beat me. There's a sweet science to boxing. The reason why you have not been able to knock out the opponents that you've already faced, I can totally see it. Why? But maybe if you would have been a little more respectful, and I'm not talking about thinking you can beat me and call it that, do all that. I'm talking about just trying to, she didn't do this, she didn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't respect her as a boxer. I only respect her as a businesswoman. I've heard her say that before. I was always there for her because she's a young black girl from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, Flint.
And I want to help uplift her because that's the Ali way. I am successful in so many areas outside of boxing. Boxing is not what defines me. There's always going to be another girl. But I tell you what, when I offered her to spar me, that definitely was a check right there to see. Let me see what kind of heart she has. You should come whoop me just for bragging rights. And she didn't take me up on that offer. I said, okay. And let's put this in context. I'm only talking about this because you're asking me.
She's done a ton of interviews since then, and she's
All right. So that is Laila Ali's take on it, y'all. If you want to watch the rest of Laila Ali's interview, go to her YouTube page. Let me see if I can exit out of here. It's called Laila Ali KO. She posted this, it says 2 days ago. Let the record show this is part 1. Part 2, she's going to come back on and she'll be letting us know whether she's going to return back to boxing or not, because basically she retired. And at the age of, I think she's 43 now. I believe so. She looks good. Okay. She's an 80s baby, y'all. What can we say? So let's go ahead and stop sharing. And we're going to get into Dr. Delbert Blair for a second. This is what he has to say about 80s babies, y'all. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Hold on. Share this tab. Make this bigger. And let's let this play.
Any soul coming in since 1985, really I would say 1980, is an old soul. They are here to fight, but in a way that you don't even understand. They are here to reawaken you, to help get guidance, and they all must be centered. You cannot leave those souls alone. They did not come here to be left alone. If you leave them alone, they will come into the maturity of the animal body and they will fight and kill. They have done it before, they will do it again. If you guide them, they will not be abused by computers, they master computers. In fact, it kicks in their neuron centers faster. The sounds that you hear on the air in rap, the rap is only the soul that is very angry, and it needs to be angry because it needs that strength of, again, the, the gland of fight and flight. Can't think of the gland right now I'm talking about. It needs that kind of a quickening and awakening. But it also needs a time for peace and quiet. And you will find once they go through that, they suddenly fall asleep, and they sleep very deeply, because that is also to bring balance. But mark my word, none of these children are weak. These children are strong beyond belief, and they can take things that you could not take. That's why they chose this time of birth. They can be very good, they can be very bad.
Melt sales objections with...
Okay. So, like I said, she's from the 80s, y'all. From the freaking 80s. And look at her. Look at She looks immaculate, in my opinion. She looks good. Now I know that, she's very polished. She got her hair done, makeup done, nails done, everything is done. She looks like she's not having any worries. But she looks like she's the fire in her eyes. Y'all look at her eyes. That woman is nobody to play with. I'm gonna tell you. I can see in her eyes. You don't want to play with Laila Ali in the least bit. Okay, not at all. I wouldn't play with her, y'all. I wouldn't play with Laila Ali. Yeah, you don't want to play with her, y'all. So she had to come on and she had to, let it be known what's on her mind, and I don't blame her. All right, now, let me see here. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to get into all my topics. I'm gonna have to readjust my video title a little bit, y'all, because I'm pushing for time. It's already 9:23 and I'm supposed to be out of here. Okay. There was something else I wanted to play for y'all. I hope you're enjoying the show. Please like, share, subscribe if you enjoy this. But yeah, a lot of people are starting to talk about this whole Laila Ali situation and Clarissa Shields. And I really think that Clarissa Shields should keep Muhammad Ali's name out of her mouth as well. I think it's very disrespectful to disparage Laila Ali and then praise her father, right? Praise the father. If you go on there, you'll hear her praising Muhammad. She said, I think it's Muhammad Ali, George Mayweather, and then me. George Mayweather Jr., and then me. Where did she get that from? So you definitely eradicated Laila Ali off of it because you said Laila Ali is just Muhammad Ali's daughter. That's all she is. And you tried to basically disparage any of her accolades, any of her success, whatever legacy she has. You tried to not even acknowledge it, y'all. But when we think about boxing, we do think about Laila Ali as far as female boxing, that is. I mean, you can't deny it. You can't get around it. And like I said, this reminds me of the whole Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim situation when Nicki first came into rap. And then what happened after that? Then Cardi B came. And then who was mad and hostile? Okay. So you always have to make room for the next the next generation, because there's always going to be someone coming later, right? Now I'm going to share this video with you all. You said you love both fighters. Am I into women's boxing? How you doing, CJ Katie? Nice to see you here. Um, I watch boxing from time to time. I'm not a big boxing fan, y'all. I am a very feminine female. Not saying that they're not feminine. Well, Laila Ali is more feminine, but like I'm more into gymnastics and ice skating. Those are my interests. I used to grow up. I was in gymnastics when I was younger. I am not into boxing like that, but um my whole point, this is my take on it. I don't think females should be fighting like that in the ring, because I always felt like, what if they get injured into a way where they can't have children? Like you might hit her in the stomach or somewhere. Those were always just my thoughts. And I just thought that Laila Ali, I just didn't want her to get hurt. Right. And I think, people say she's too pretty to fight, but I never saw really a scratch on her face, y'all. I never really saw any injuries on her. When it comes to Clarissa Shields, I think she comes from, a fight or flight survival background. She seems like she comes from, a different element of life. So fighting helped her to survive growing up. And I think she channeled that and turned it to something that could be successful for her. So in that respect, and that aspect, I respect her for that. But I don't think she should be tearing Laila Ali down. No, I don't think she should do that. And I think people coming up, like even in rap, we hear people try to disparage the older rappers, right? Because now they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Some of them might be close to 60, but they paved the way for these people. So how can you come up doing the same thing that they're doing when they paved the way for you to be where you are? Like that's disrespectful. That's how I feel about that, y'all. So there's a video that I wanted to play for y'all. This is a video that I had posted a little while ago. And this is just talking about the 80s babies. So hold on, y'all. Let me share my screen for a second. All right, y'all, this is me, and I'm going to be talking, and I want y'all to hear my nephew, all right? Because I'm telling you, if the 80s babies is one thing, because we saw Laila Ali and how she's looking, imagine what is going on with this newer generation that's coming up, y'all. Listen to this. Greetings, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Like Beautiful, y'all. All right, so hold on. Is Delbert Blair talking about the etymology of children? All right, so check this out.
Fully grown at 12 to 13 years old when puberty, and in the case of the female, when the menses set in the case of the male, when it kicks into the higher powers. Because of this backward, retarding society, they don't want that to happen, and it has succeeded in stopping puberty and the development of the brain. The body now is outstripping the brain in growth. That is a dangerous sign. For the body now is becoming that of the giants, especially with the sons of God. They will grow very tall, and the daughters of God will grow very tall, but unless the brain capacity and the neuron energies keep pace, you will have a giant, dumb beast capable of doing terrible things without the control of the brain. Also, some children, as you learn, do not follow Dr. Spock's pattern, do not follow the prescribed pediatric procedures, and do things different. Some of the children can learn to walk in 10 months. Some 18 and 19 months old before they walk, and they're crawling around sometimes at 26 months old. Some can say 4 to 5 words in the first year. Some can say 4 to 5 words in the 4th month. It changes. Some children stay extremely hungry during the first 6 months and take in with an appetite that is voracious. Others seemingly don't want to eat at all. Some children are born to drug and dope addicts and seem to be afflicted with drug habits at birth and continue on through showing all the signs of that, while others again seem to show pronounced genetic activity that makes them extremely psychic, and the mothers know, but the fathers also know, because
All right, let's get into the 80s babies.
Because any soul coming in since 1985, really I would say 1980, is an old soul. They are here to fight, but in a way that you don't even understand. They are here to reawaken you, to help get guidance, and they all must be centered. You cannot leave those souls alone. They did not come here to be left alone. If you leave them alone, they will come into the maturity of the animal body and they will fight and kill. They have done it before.
All right. So I think we already heard that clip. Now, you all, okay, shout out to the 80s babies if you were born in the 80s. I'm going to play this clip from my nephew. Now, my nephew was not an 80s baby, of course. He was born in 2011, y'all, but I want you to hear the conversation that we had during this time. All right. Shout out to Delbert Blair, y'all. And I know I played this on the prior stream just a few minutes ago, but I also want to play this clip of my nephew. All right. So he's talking about his theory.
I didn't. This is just a theory. This is my own little theory.
Okay, let's hear what he has to say.
Be the only ones existing. There has to be more. Like, we're tiny compared to everything else. Like, just compare us to the sun. Mm-hmm. And the sun is a medium-sized star.
Right.
There's other stars like much bigger than ours. No, ours isn't even that big. It's probably like average size. She's a one for her giant bulb. So like, we can't be the only ones, the only things living that are like as sentient as us. There has to be more.
Yeah, I just think it's some short of like people out there, just like half our size.
Maybe there's people half our size. There could be people double our size. There could be people like grandma. So look, here's another thing I think that exists. I also think there's a multiverse, because they only tell us about galaxies and a universe. There's a multiverse of a whole bunch of other universes out there. In some of those universes, there's people just like you and me, just different. Like, the world could be switched in just the slightest of ways, but yet so similar and different at the same time. They're sacrificing people to the aliens, and they're giving them information just to let us live, because they're so much more intelligent than us. That's what I think. And they keep coming down, and they're giving us all the resources that we have in order to get our information. Like, they're taking our information, and in return, they're giving us resources to upper build, to more advance our technology. And that's how we're getting everything that we have today. Like robots, we couldn't get that by ourselves. That's alien technology right there.
And his brother in the background said, "Mm-hmm." No, I can't make this stuff up. He's not even 13 years old. I think he's like 12 or going on 12. He might be 11. How old is he? He was born in 2011, y'all. His birthday is in November, the end of November at that. So he's around 11 or 12. But let me tell you something. When I was that age, I was not thinking like that. I wasn't thinking about a multiverse, alien technology, any of this stuff. Like, I did question, I remember questioning, like, who made us? Where did we come from? Why are we here? I read the Bible. I read about, how they built that, what do you call it? I call it the totem pole, the thing that they built all the way to the heavens. And then I wanted to know, well, who made God? I remember I asked my parents this. They told me to go read the Bible, and I did. So I had questions back then, but like I didn't have the ability to theorize like he has. And I think that is immaculate for such a young age. Even though I know he's probably a lot older than his physical body, I know he's been here before. You should have heard some of the things he was saying at the age of 3, 4, and 5 years old to me. And I'm pretty sure I have that stuff saved somewhere. I remember on this channel. Okay, y'all. He was, yes, the Tower of Babel. I call it the totem pole. But y'all, he was talking about this stuff, and I was very shocked. So when Delbert Blair says, 80s babies came back to fight, and then you look into the children that are here today that are still coming up. Like I said, he was born in 2011, y'all. And we never talked about this stuff around him. This is his theory that he came up with on his own. Now, as far as hearing about the alien technology and sacrificing of the people to the aliens, y'all, if you do your research, and I researched this, I think he was born during that time, but I didn't talk about it with him because he probably was like 3 or 4 when I researched this information back in 2015. And it said the information that I read and that I saw, the videos that I watched, is the Eisenhower. I think we had a president before we were born back in the 30s or something like that signed a peace treaty back in the 30s for alien technology. And in exchange for the alien technology, they would give the aliens some of the people. So when you find that these people go missing sometimes, that's where they are, whether y'all believe it or not. Yes, the Tower of Babel. Thank you for correcting me. I call it the totem pole. So I'm just like, this is amazing, y'all. I know for a fact that through our lineage and through our DNA, that we reincarnate with our ancestors' DNA in us. And these children are coming back with a purpose. All right. They're coming back with a purpose. They're not playing. They're not playing, y'all, at all. Then also we're going to talk about, I don't know if y'all are aware, but the digital ID situation is going on. And I just saw this last night. It popped up last night. It said as an hour ago, when I had pulled up this article, that the veterans will be having new digital IDs. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm going to pull it up. You said it's in our genes. It is. It is, y'all. This is why they want to keep tabs on people so badly and keep people under watch. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to read this article. We're going to read this together. So I hope y'all are enjoying Sunday service today. Sky News posted this a few hours ago, early in the AM, because I was essential cookies only. I hate when they ask me to record my cookies. I don't agree. All right, the first digital ID launches today, they say. All right, this was written yesterday, October 18th, 2025. Digital veteran ID cards are launching today, and the government wants to digitize passports, driver's licenses, and others by the end of 2027, because they're already doing this in the UK, by the way. From today, digital veteran cards are available for ex-members of the armed forces. Y'all, I got to call my daddy and see if he knows about this. The first step in the digitization of almost every form of ID. I don't agree with this whatsoever, because if they're putting your personal information on a digitalized platform, haven't we been exposed enough? All these hackers out here, how many times have y'all gotten an email or a letter saying, oh, we've been compromised, your account has been compromised, change your ID? Or you get like these little notices saying that you get to monitor your credit for a certain amount of years for free because our databases have had a breach at the bank, at the healthcare facilities, all across the board. And then you want to digitalize our information. I don't want my stuff digitalized like this. I mean, they probably already got our information anyway, so why do we have to go through these measures? No, this isn't the controversial mandatory right to work checks, because in the UK, they're saying that it's mandatory for them to work to have this announced recently. More on that later, but I'm pretty sure they're going to make it mandatory, but it is part of the same program for pretty much all forms of government identification to be accessible on your phone by the end of 2027. I totally disagree with this. This will mean passports, driver's licensing, driving licenses, national insurance cards, which we already have that, and many more being virtual instead of, or as well as being stashed in a shoebox or under socks in a drawer. But you got to think about the elderly people that don't know how to use, this form of technology. A lot of elderly people are not going to really want to use this because they're going to be very confused. At an event at the Tower of London, chosen for its millennia-old juxtaposition with the digital revolution, beef eaters showed off their shiny new cards and joked of using it to get discounted food. There was an occasional tech hiccup here and there with getting the cards downloaded, mostly due to dodgy internet, it seemed. But in general, it was all smiles. I just don't agree with it because we know with technology, one push of a button can wipe out everything. Y'all, one push of a button. We all use our smartphones for everyday life, he explained. Everybody doesn't use their smartphones for everything. Everybody doesn't trust their smartphones. So it's about making the relationship with the citizen easier and making their access to government services easier. Y'all see where they're going with this, right? Mr. Murray said he is looking forward to the end of having to continuously fill out my name, my address, my telephone number, and instead just scanning his phone, y'all. The same way they want us to just scan our palms, scan this chip that they want to insert in our bodies. Having all government documents accessible in an Apple or Google Wallet style app is the end goal. I don't trust Google with this information, even though they already have our information, right? And the solution is being built on similar secure technology that underpins storing payment cards on your phone. We already have that. It's called the Apple Wallet. The work is being done in-house by Government Digital Service, part of the Department of Science, Innovation, and Technology that houses the digitization expertise in Whitehall. Any mention of digitization of the personal information raises questions around security, but the government insists its solution is safe with a federated approach. Right. So we're supposed to trust the government. And they're on a shutdown right now. And they're saying that a lot of people might not be able to get food in November because of the shutdown. People have lost their jobs because of the shutdown, and people are not getting paid while on this shutdown. But you want us to trust them. You want us to trust them with our digitized information. To use the example of Veterans ID, this would mean that the original data of who is a veteran, where they served, and all other relevant information would remain with the Ministry of Defense. Once the sign in and verification with this data has been completed on a phone, this can then be used to prove someone is a veteran and easily give them access to housing, okay, mental support, shopping discounts, museum entry, and other benefits the government says. For driving licenses, the data would stay with DVLA, passports with the Passport Office, and national insurance with the Department for Work and Pensions. Those who have worked on the creation of the software say this stops the creation of a single vault of everyone's personal data in one place. In order to get the card on your phone, you would need to use the phone security, such as a face scan. I don't agree with that. Fingerprint, I don't agree with that, or PIN code. This is even talk that technology like contactless could be used with the government's version of the wallet to tap and verify things like age and an off license. The hope from government is that it can speed up tedious paper-based interactions like house buying, passport control, and the right to work. So they are going to use it for you to have a job. It is here with the sticking point on this policy plan becomes apparent. It is here where the sticking point on this policy plan becomes, I don't know what they mean by that, y'all. Paperless phase. So it says announcing mandatory digital ID last month, the prime minister made it clear this was about cracking down on immigration, y'all. Straightway concerns were raised about why a compulsory digital ID was needed, who would check it, and what for. Polling showed, especially among Tory and Reform voters, an opposition to this policy when it is these people the immigration battle is being fought over. Tory MP and a stalwart opponent of government overreach, David Davis, says digital ID gives the state the unchecked power to digitally strip citizens naked. I agree. He added Starmer's scheme will be even more risky as ransomware criminals, exactly, foreign states and other hackers will attack the strategic weak points in the one login architecture. I agree. If the government believes digitizing identification is so beneficial and such a win-win, why does it want to force people to use it rather than see the benefits and then choose to use it? Mr. Murray said the right to work ID will be mandatory, as it's mandatory already to be able to prove that you can work in the UK. He insists it will make the process for employees easier and also make it easier for the Home Office to see which employees are not making checks. No more photocopying passports and scanning old phone bills. The government is adamant this is the only mandatory use case, with the suggestion even that the digital ID could be deleted once employment is confirmed. I don't agree. But the flip side is that once this can of worms is open, this or a future government could change tack and would have the digital infrastructure to do whatever it wants. My sentiments as well. But Mr. Murray said the principle here is to make the state and the citizen's relationship much easier and the power of the data in the hands of the citizen, y'all. What are y'all thoughts on this, y'all? I disagree with that. You said, okay. You said, I've heard about the digital IDs in the UK. I knew it was only a matter of time. Yeah, I knew it was coming too. I just heard about this the other day. 1985, shout out to you. Digital ID with the social credit score, like how they are doing in China. I heard about that. They are saying that even they're going to check who you're friends with on Facebook to check your social ID, your social credit score. That's craziness, y'all. Because do you know how many people request to be your friend on Facebook that you don't know? Then if they don't like what you're doing or saying, they can just shut you off from buying, etc. Yes, and buying and selling. Yep. I'm all for helping the vets, but geez, this is evasive. We love our vets in Texas. So I don't think the vets should have to be subjected to this. I don't think veterans should have to do that, because veterans, they might not even know how to use these digitalized devices, right? Yeah, I could see them doing some kind of cyber attack, even to shut down the power grid. Yeah, and they've done this already, Maddie. Do y'all remember? I think it was back in 2003. Part of the power grid got shut down in New York. How do I know? Because we were supposed to take a trip to New York, and we ended up not going. Thank God we didn't go. And a lot of people were without electricity. I'm hearing also that one of the power grids to the United States is controlled from Canada. And there was another part of the United States where this same thing happened again. Maddie, 100% controlling us with a flick of a switch. I don't trust it whatsoever, y'all. Whatsoever. So we just have to be vigilant out here. Be cognizant, be aware of what's going on. You know, they sneaking in your windows, coming through your doors. Hide your kids, hide your wife, because they trying to steal your wife. Let me stop. Yeah, they trying us for real. I just don't agree with it. So hopefully we don't have to have mandated digital IDs. It's bad enough how bad the hacking is going on. We're always getting told about the breaches that have taken place with our databases and our information from all these major companies, right? And then let's not even get into if you have a Ring camera, which is why I don't trust Ring. I don't trust Ring camera, because Ring camera, they have hacked into people's Ring cameras too, y'all. And then you don't know what they're doing with your information. They can check in. If you have one in your house, they can tap into your device in your house. Anything that has a Bluetooth attached to it, trust and believe, people can tap into these things whether you know it or not. They can override whatever passcode you're putting in, your encryption, and they can actually see what's going on at your house. And then your information is being sold to third parties all around the world. And Ring has been known to do this, y'all. I wanted to actually, and I might do an episode about the Ring door cameras, because so many people have them in the neighborhoods. And the thing about it is, they say you can't have a camera facing the public, facing the street, right? Because it's an invasion of privacy. But when the Ring door camera is on your door, it is facing the street. It is basically filming the cars that are going down the street and everything. They can see people walking down the street, across the street to your neighbor's house, who's parked at your neighbor's house, who's going to your neighbor's house, if your neighbor's outside. So they're still capturing all this footage. And every time a crime Oh, thank you. You said you can't hear. Thank you for telling me that, y'all. Thank you. I don't know what is going on, how this thing got muted, y'all. But like I was saying, I don't trust these Ring door cameras, because they have Ring door cameras facing across the street to your neighbor's house, watching people walk down the street. They can see what you're doing. If you're outside, if you have visitors, who's parked out there, getting tag numbers. They got facial recognition things, features going on with these video cameras and stuff. Then they want you to scan your face for some of these, from some of these agencies want you to scan your face, turn your face this way, turn your face that way, take your hat off, look at the camera again, go to the left, go to the right. Like, it's too much. And then they want to have a fingerprint scan, which I don't agree with. The next thing they're going to want you to do is give your blood droplets. And I don't agree with that either, because what are you doing with my DNA? I halfway don't even want to give it to the hospital when they have to do like some type of lab testing on me. I am very cognizant about that, because where are you sending this off to, and what are you doing with it when it's over with? We don't know. And we have to sign these disclosures. Oh, you can hear now. Thank you. Thank y'all so much for letting me know. I took my Ring camera off. It was connected with my Wi-Fi, and I didn't like the potential of being infiltrated. You know what? There are other cameras outside of just Ring, because Ring has been in the news for data breaches, and people have been known to tap into the Ring door cameras. I don't subscribe to Ring door cameras. You can get like another one. There are other cameras out there that you can get for your house. Like on this house, it's not Ring, I can tell you that. And you will be the one that has, the passcode to it. Now you can give it to someone else too, in case you want them to check on your house. But I don't trust Ring, because they have been in too many data breaches, and too many people have actually infiltrated their encryption and tapped into people's Ring door cameras, y'all. You said they like vampires wanting our blood. Exactly right. But we can legally film outside our homes because it's public and doesn't violate Fourth Amendment. We can't trespass the eyes. But the thing is, when you're in a neighborhood, you know what they tell you, what the HOA says? You can't have your camera facing the street. That's what they tell you, that you have to turn it towards your house. How do I know? Because this happened to me some years ago when I had a camera on the townhouse that I was staying in. And they didn't want me, because I was actually trying to capture my car in the parking lot because I was having an issue. But they don't want you having anything facing that way. But yes, you're right. It is like, you can't film in public. You're supposed to, but then why is it that certain people I've seen on YouTube, like people that vlog their life, people have been told you can't film in here. You can't film in here, even though it's a public place like Walmart or somewhere. There, people have been told they cannot film in there. So why is that going on? The rules, the laws are very blurred and muddied, y'all. And also, police officers don't like for you to film either. They get very hostile if they're doing something and you're filming them, especially if you're trying to help protect the rights of someone else that's in custody, or you're trying to do it for safety purposes. They are very hostile about filming. They'll try to tell you cannot film, yet they wear body cameras. And they turn body cameras when they want to. They turn them on and off, which they're not supposed to do that. Y'all, there's something called the Mississippi Goons. I don't know if you heard of it. They turn their body cameras off and commence to trying to kill these two melanated guys, right? I think I talked about it on this channel because I met a civil rights activist some weeks ago, and he was telling me about it. The guys ended up winning their case. There were 6 officers that got locked up for basically torturing these guys for no reason. They call it waterboard. They waterboarded them. So they put pillowcases on them and then dump water over top of them. And from my understanding, that makes a person feels like they're about to drown. That makes a person feel like they're going to drown. They commenced to having them strip down, take their clothes off, make them get in the shower, put the gun in one of their mouths, told them to suck on the gun, and then pulled the trigger. But guess what? It didn't go off, right? It didn't go off. So you know what he did? He pulled the trigger again and it went off. So he was trying to basically take that guy out. And then he goes outside and tells his sergeant or whoever, oh, I just shot one of those NIGG, you know what? I just shot one of them. So then they had to come up with a story so that he wouldn't get in trouble, right? So they lied and made up a story, but yet and still, these 2 guys were vindicated, and the guy did survive. I'm going to actually do a story on that one day, so y'all can hear about the details involved. These guys got tortured for I think it was close to 2 hours, and it was all because they were at a white woman's house So the neighbors called the police and said they thought that the two guys were over there selling drugs. That's how that happened. He said, you're legally allowed to film the police. They don't like to be filmed. Some police officers have big power trips. A lot of police don't know the law. So you have to be careful, know your rights, know your laws and stuff like that, y'all. I am so hungry. I've been on here for an hour and 4 minutes. I am planning to get me some pumpkin infused pancakes for breakfast. I've been craving them for the last couple of days, y'all. I've been turning the place up. And I do have an avocado sandwich in there that I could eat. So I could eat that now or I could have it later. I think I'm going to go for the pancakes, y'all. This has been an episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful, Sunday Rendezvous with yours truly. Church has now been adjourned. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, continue to walk in your divinity. Stay blessed. And until next time, y'all stay peaceful, okay? Signing out, y'all. You said you want to see me cook breakfast? You said I'm leaving already? Yes, I am. I'm hungry, y'all. My stomach is over here growling. I sound like a freaking grizzly bear. Believe it or not, as small framed as I am, my stomach, it gets to rumbling. Okay, it's not a game out here. You love avocados? I'm trying to watch my diet, y'all. But yes, one day I will do a cooking video for y'all. All right. So I'm going to sign out. I'll tune in with y'all later. All right. Y'all have a wonderful, beautiful Sunday. All right. Enjoy your day.